everyone. I've had a lot more questions on ants, and I know the last time I just made this hummingbird video on these little water cups I make that I hang my feeders on, and that works for me to get rid of the ants. But some of you are saying that it's not working and you're having a lot of ant issues. I have really debated on doing this video because there's going to be a lot of people upset, but I'm going to go ahead and do it, and take it as you want. I'm not endorsing any products. All I'm going to say is we use it. Okay, here it goes. If you are in such desperate need to get rid of ants, and I know late summer like now and into the fall, the ants are on the warpath. They are just looking and hunting, and the scouts are out looking, and once they find something, it seems like it's seconds, which we know it's not seconds, but they quickly bring in the gang, and it's just miserable, especially when they get in the house. You're wiping them, I'm wiping them down with a sponge and soapy water, and they keep coming back, and you can't get rid of them. Well, for that, we use this ant chalk. We have been using this ant chalk for over 20 years now. And there's a lot of controversial questions and answers and discussions over it. As far as I know, it's not legal or legally being sold in the United States. And I could be wrong on that. I've looked up the EPA reports, and those reports actually stated there was a lot of reasons they didn't want it. Some of the main reasons on that was the packaging. It's not child-proof, I read. The other problem is it looks like children's chalk, like you would use on a chalkboard. And children could play with it and put it in their mouth. Another thing I read on the EPA was the packaging that comes with it, and sometimes there's not much, doesn't really say anything, or it's not in English, or it just says safe to use around animals and children and people, and it doesn't really say much. So there's been a lot of reasons why it can't be sold here. I always thought it was boric acid, and now I'm finding out it may be two other chemicals. Now, I'm going to explain the two chemicals in details on this video for you. There are two chemicals they say are in this ant chalk. The first one, I'm going to spell it because I don't know how to pronounce it, is DELTA, like Delta, METHRIN. The second one is CYPERMETHRIN. Both of them are synthetic. Ants will not cross it. It disrupts the scent trail. And it's briefly, it will only usually work for the one day that you draw the line. But they can't find their trail and they leave, is what it is. Now, the Delta METHRIN, that particular pesticide is toxic to aquatic life, particularly fish. So don't use that around a pond anywhere near to get in your water, or a fish tank. Keep it away from your water. It's considered to be somewhat safe around humans and pets, the small amount. And all of pesticides are toxic to start with. So just, that small amount is considered somewhat safe. The second one, which is the CYPERMETHRIN, that one is used to kill roaches and fleas and termites, and it's also used for farming at times. They use it on cotton and lettuce. Both of these chemicals separately are sold in the United States, and you can buy them in pints. Some of them come sometimes in gallons. They use them different places like ornamental gardens to keep pesticides down. They use them on lawns. There's different places they use them. So they're both used here in the United States. But I just want to make it clear that, again, this chalk is not organic. It is a pesticide. And I wanted you to understand there are pesticides in this chalk. The thing is, keep in mind, those two chemicals that are in this are legally sold in the United States and are used by farmers, by golf courses, I heard, to get rid of insects on their lawns, ornamental gardens, a lot of different places and a lot of different reasons, even sometimes for termites. I have found they work for what I guess they call Argentine ants and grease ants. We store it in a hard container. We keep it in either in the container it came in, the box, or we just, put it in the containers. But we keep it in a dog-proof container, so this way when it's in here, it's sealed, it's hard as a rock, and if it falls on the ground accidentally, nobody's going to get to it. I mean, I don't have little kids running around here. If you've got kids, I would say, well, I'm going to say, well, if you have kids, no, but then my daughter uses it, friends we know use it. It's really simple to use. It's amazing. As far as getting rid of the ants, it's amazing. Sometimes I get up in the morning and they've come in around the sink. So what you do is you draw a line on their trail. So if they're crawling in, you just draw a line. You could draw 2 lines if you want, and walk away. Don't try to do anything. Don't try to wash them. Don't try to chase them away. Don't do anything. Just draw a line on their path, and in about 15-20 minutes, pretty much they're all gone. Because the ones that are coming, they lost their scent as to where to go, and they don't want to cross the line, so they turn around and leave. And as they're leaving, they're telling all their buddies, hey, there's nothing there, don't go there, or it's dangerous. The ones that are on the other side, they either get lost or they cross the line, and if they cross the line, they get this on them, they'll die. They'll just crawl off and they'll die. It seems to really work. I would say, if you're in dire need and you've got a major ant problem, it might be worth trying the chalk. I mean, one chalk for us literally could last years because you're just drawing a line. What Gary does is, if they're in the house and they're coming through the window or something, he will go down below, look all over around the house and see if he can find the trail that's coming in, and he'll get him down there. I tend not to use this in my garden, but sometimes I will put it around the hummingbird feeder, and you just draw a circle. You want to make sure they can't go around it, because they will if they're coming up the pipe, they'll just move over and go around it. So you have to draw a circle. Once you draw the line or the circle, it's only going to last for the day. By the next day, the chalk doesn't mean anything to them. They'll cross over it and they're gone. I really don't know what else to say. You can find it all over. It seems like any swap meet I've ever walked in and walked around, they're there. They're always at swap meets. You can't really find them in the grocery store, but you can find them online. Even eBay sells them. I'm not sure about anybody else, but you just go on Google and Google ant chalk and you'll find it all over. I do not use ant chalk in my garden. I have no reason. They're working and they're doing their thing, but I'm going to show you here as a demonstration how the ant chalk would work, since I haven't had any ants in the house for a while. You would take the chalk, this one's the big one, and you just draw a line. Now what will happen, probably within 30 minutes there'll be no more ants here. Now if you had massive trails, you could go up here and up here just to make sure that they're not going to come back. But what's going to happen are the ones that are coming down are leaving, see? And the ones that are coming up are leaving. And if you had an ant row coming in, or a single row of ants in the house, this is where you put the ant chalk. You draw the line on their trail, and then you just walk away. That's it. That's all you do. Literally within 30 minutes, they're gone. In fact, if you look now, in this one area, there were thousands of ants. The trail is gone. See, the trail is almost gone from the top. And the ones that are left are coming and they're checking it out. It's like, uh-oh, we're leaving. And they're gone. They will not cross it. If they do cross it, they probably will end up dying. But they are sending the signal of this is not the place, we cannot go here anymore. That's how the ant chalk works. Literally one line. If the trail was really long in the house, you could put multiple lines just like this. You just draw the line. Now that line, tomorrow, since this is outside and it's not in my garden, it's outside on a wall. Tomorrow, that line, you may see it, but it's no longer toxic to them. They may cross it. But as of today, they cannot, and they will leave. And if I come back here in about 30 minutes, they'll all be gone. Well, it's been about 10-15 minutes, and I wanted to come back and show you that these ants are gone. Now, they did have multiple trails here, like here's another small one. They've kind of left, but I only put the chalk on the one trail. Usually in the house, there's only one trail, so you would just put it on the one trail. But that's it. They're gone, and that's the way it works in the house. And it would work the same in the garden. I do not suggest using ant chalk in the garden. Not because it's toxic or anything like that. There's no reason. As long as they're outside, they're doing what they're supposed to do. They're collecting dead insects, dead birds, whatever dies, they collect that, they eat that, all kinds of stuff. And they are just putting it back in their home, in their colonies for the winter. Right now they're collecting big time. They do that in late summer into fall. But this is how the ant chalk works in the garden. Just draw the line. You would use that in the house. That's how you would use it in the house. You would have the trail in the house. You would just pick up the ant chalk, draw the line, and they will message everybody, see, that you really aren't supposed to crawl across that. There's nothing here, we're leaving. And that's how the ant chalk works. Again, I think it's because of the packaging. I don't believe it's being legally sold here. I don't know how they're putting it online and selling it, but they are. If I can find a link, I'll see if I can put a link underneath of where they are and you can take a look at it. I'm not telling you to buy it. If you really don't have major ant problems and you can get rid of them with whatever other way you're doing it, then just do it. But if you got a problem and you can't get rid of them, this stuff is amazing. I don't even know if I'd be able to live without it. That's how good this stuff is for us. Because we do have a lot of ants here. They do come in the house, and once you cross their, put it on their trail, they don't come back. They generally don't come back to the same place. They may come back somewhere else. I don't know what else to say. It looks like chalk. I will be washing my hands after I do this video. But I wanted to share that with you in case you're in desperate need. I don't know if it's going to be good for red ants or fire ants or any other ants. I've never used it for, they say it's good for roaches. I don't know how it's good for fleas. You're not going to draw it on your dog. But they say it's good for fleas. I only use this for ants. Remember, what it is the ants send the scout out. The scout searches. Sometimes you might be in the house and see one ant wandering around on your kitchen counter. That's a scout. And he's looking for something. And as soon as he finds something that they want, it could be water, it could be sugar, it could be food, some sort of matter that they want, he disappears and he comes back with all his friends. The big thing is, once you've got the ants all over the hummingbird feeder, even if you take it down and I wash my feeder out and I hang it back, the ants will come back. If I've got one of these, I don't have any problems. The ants cannot cross the water. I don't know how some people say it doesn't work. I know that some people, and I have said, some of them will crawl in there and die, and then they'll crawl over them. If you saw the video on how I made this, and you have that big of an ant problem, use a 8-ounce cottage cheese container and make a great big one. I mean, you can make it any size you want on this. But as far as this, if you've got an ant problem and you drew a circle around where the hummingbird feeder is hanging, this will get rid of the ants. The ones that are there already. I wouldn't just be drawing it up if they're not there. This basically is the one that you want to prevent the scout from finding the hummingbird feeder. Because if the scout can't get down to the sugar water, he has nothing to report back to his family. So this is a prevention. That's what this is. This one, I think I misspoke before. This one is to stop the ones that have already come in. This is, I'm sorry to say, an amazing product. You know, it's made in China. I don't know what else to say. Now, sometimes when you find them and you buy them, because we, picked them up a few different times, there could be 2 pieces of chalk in here, 2 round ones. And then sometimes the way they make it, I guess, just the way they make it in their mold, sometimes it's 1 big one. It's the same thing. It probably goes by weight. So you never know when you open it up if you're going to have 1 big one that's almost the size of the box or 2 small long ones. Either way, it's the same. I will say that if you decide to try it, because of the packaging is nothing, and you could drop it, and your dog could eat it, and I don't know what's going to happen if the dog gets to it. My dogs have never gotten to it. I've even dropped it. They have no interest in it, and I picked it up. Please put it in a heavy container or put it in a glass jar. Label what it is if you've got other people in the house. Here it's, we don't need to do any more than just put ant chalk. Label it. So, and let everybody know what it is, that this is not children's chalk for drawing. Are they legal? I don't know. But then our whole city, it wasn't even our city, it was the whole country, had fireworks going, and big fireworks, and those weren't legal either. So if they can bring those in, this is probably a piece of cake. So I wanted to share that with you in case you had an ant problem. Again, I'm not endorsing it. All I'm trying to do is give you an option that if you do have a really major big problem, and some people do. My daughter said once they couldn't get rid of the ants. They were coming in the cracks of the walls, and they didn't even look like they were going anywhere, and so we gave her some ant chalk. She drew it around, and I don't even think she has a problem anymore. They finally just went somewhere else. That was years ago, so she hasn't asked me for any more ant chalk, so I'm assuming everything's okay. But then again, like I said, you only use it a few times a year. I don't know how many times a year I use it, not that often. And so 1 package of ant chalk could probably end up lasting you, as long as you keep it in a sealed container and keep it from getting wet. It probably 1 package will last you for many, many, many years. At least it does us. So I wanted to give you that option, and this is not just for hummingbirds. This is, in your own house. I don't use it in the garden. I don't have a problem with ants in my garden. The ants in my garden are pollinating. They're going in the zucchini and squash flowers. They're crawling around. They're going from flower to flower, picking up some pollen. They're doing their job. If they want to get into my compost bins, my compost and place bins, they're breaking that stuff down. They're doing their job. But in the house, I don't want them in my sink. I don't want them on my stove. I don't want them around the dog bowl. I've even done that where I've gone around and drawn a circle if they decided they wanted the dog's water. I can pick up the bowl and move it, but then eventually that group will move over. So if I draw a circle around the dog bowl, and this is what we've done, they go away. They literally go away. So I've only had that happen once this year. I drew a circle and I haven't seen those ants come back. So if you're in dire, desperate need, it may be something you want to think about. Like I said, please, I'm not endorsing it. I don't know anything about it any more than we use it. This is what the box looks like. It's an orange box, yellow writing. And the chalk, and this is the big problem at the EPA. They said it's not child safe. See? The chalk looks like kids drawing chalk. It even gets on your hands like drawing chalk. It writes on the ground like drawing chalk. See? I don't know if you can see that. It writes like drawing chalk. So that's the big thing, is they're afraid kids are going to get a hold of it. So again, I thought I would share this with you. In case somebody isn't completely dire need for it. I don't know what else to say on this, but it does work, and it might be worth trying if you've got a big major ant problem. Again, I don't know if it works on all types of ants, but it does work on the Argentine ants we have here, the small black ones. And I've had grease ants only once. I haven't seen them this year. Those are like half the size. They're so tiny. And I just thought I would just let you know that we do use it. We have used it for over 20 years. And we keep it on hand because we never know when we're going to need it. So I hope I've given you an idea for the people that are in dire need and need something because they have a major ant problem. They can't get rid of them. They're coming every morning in your sink. They're in the bathroom crawling around because a lot of those are looking for, who knows what they're looking for. It could be dead skin. It could be water. They get into certain areas, and all you do is draw that line, just like I drew here, just across their path a couple places, and then walk away, and they'll be gone. And within the hour, they're completely gone. So with that, I hope I helped somebody, giving you an idea. And please, you don't have to write in there, oh, it's toxic, it's no good. I know everybody I know uses it pretty much. But I just wanted to give another option out there for people that are in dire need, because some people just have a major problem and you can't get rid of them. And we have tried everything. And I don't want to go get the harsh chemicals to start spraying all over the house, because you go to the store and they want to sell you cans of spray. That's even worse. You're spraying it and they're breathing that in, and that's getting all over. Then when that dries up, you have to go back and spray again. This is one time. You put it across, and usually if you had a problem one day in your kitchen, they won't even come back. A lot of times they don't come back at all. If they do come back, they might have tried again in a few weeks, and they might try again the same area because there's food there. But I don't want to be spraying chemicals. I try not to ever use those type of toxic chemicals. This works. And then if you're upset with the line afterwards, if you want to get it out, just wash it with a little water. It's gone. Take a paper towel. And it's gone. See? It is gone. It's totally gone. Okay. I just wanted to give you another option. So with that, that's what it looks like. It's cheap too. They're really, really cheap. Have a great day, and don't forget to eat what you grow. And don't use this around your food in the garden. There's no reason for it. The ants outside belong there. The ants in your house don't. And I don't need them on my hummingbird feeder either. Have a great day, and don't forget to eat what you grow. Bye-bye, everybody.